You guys have heard of house hacking before, but have you ever heard of office hacking? Come check out the 7-plex that I just bought where I'm going to do an office hack. This property is a mixed use property. It's got 2 commercial units, 5 residential, and I'm actually going to keep one of the commercial units for myself, for my company and my office. Come check it out. We're midway through the reno almost. We're about 35% done, and I'm looking forward to seeing this project all the way through. But for right now, I can show you guys what we've been working on and show you some of the renovations that we've done. So we're looking to increase the value of the property, turning over the residential units, adding in-suite laundry to them, as well as mini split system. Going to be a luxury type of rental unit here. So looking forward to showing you what it's going to turn into. But for right now, let's check out some of these renovations. Hey guys, so we're here in the office, my future office, where I'm going to be office hacking, and I will have my business here. To give you guys some context, right next door we have another commercial unit, so 2 commercial units in the front, we have 1 large residential unit in the back, and then upstairs we have 4 residential units. So altogether we have 7 units. Why I really loved this property and decided to buy it is it fit my criteria for an office hack. It achieved my goal for the stacking method to double your units every year. So I started with the 4-plex. Now I'm at a 7-plex, and in the basement there's actually 10-foot ceilings, so there's potential to add square footage either to these commercial spaces, or potentially I'm going to apply to see if I can add full units down there. So we'll see how that goes, but at the end of the day it is usable space. This is what it looks like right now. It's been fully demoed, as you can see. The seller actually lived in this unit, so he was house hacking as well. He was living in the commercial unit, he was renting out the other commercial to a residential tenant, but this will be the office. So the way I envision it is maybe have a couch here, a seating area, maybe we could shoot some content here, have some coffee, and then probably have some desks spread out here, maybe 3 or 4 desks for my salespeople to crank out those wholesale deals. In the back we have the kitchen, so we have a full kitchen and bathroom, and there's another room in the back which I will use for my personal office, but it is pretty spacious in here. High ceilings, these are about 10 to 12 foot ceilings. So we started upstairs with the renovations. We want to get the 2nd floor done first, get those rented, and then start working down here. The way that I went about financing this deal, I actually had a private mortgage. A bit of a long story. Initially I got approved for a mortgage before I took possession, and the broker told me, hey man, good news, you just need an appraisal as is and as complete. You don't need an environmental study. So I said, okay, great. And then guess what happens a week before closing? The lender asks, hey, where's the environmental study? So that was a real big surprise. And not only that, but the seller wanted me to put an additional deposit down because I needed to extend the closing date. So I put an additional $50,000 down that was non-refundable. And then the lender gives me this info where they asked me for the environmental, and there's no way to get it done in a timely fashion. So backup plan, I call another broker. Luckily he gets me financing approved right away. I just take the financing, the mortgage, and I close on this property because I do not want to lose $50,000. So initially the first lender that screwed me at the last minute, they had me approved for purchase plus improvement, so construction financing that would fund the renos. When it came to the lender that came through for me, we didn't have time to get the construction financing, so it was just the purchase. So it was a 6-month term. I did what I had to do. I bought the building, and it took me about 6 months to get the tenants out anyway, and then I refinanced to another private mortgage. It's not always ideal because you do pay extra fees, but at the end of the day, it's the cost of doing business. Sometimes you do what you got to do, and luckily the new broker, he got me approved for 1 year. It was private financing, $650,000 mortgage plus an additional $300,000 in renovation costs. So actually last week I just got my first draw. They give you the renovation money in draws. So they said once you reach 33% completion, you get the first $100,000, the second 33%, you get another $100,000, and when the project is fully finished, you get the final draw, the last $100,000, for a total of $300,000. And PS, they do a holdback, so I didn't get the full $100,000. They held back about $6,000, so I got a check for $94,000. That was more than enough. And like I said, I just got that draw because upstairs we didn't make some great progress, and that's how I financed this deal. To give you some further numbers, I bought this property for $845,000, which breaks down to $121,000 per unit, which in my opinion, that's a great price. I try to buy multi-units as close to $100,000 per unit as possible in the city of Windsor. So my fourplex was about 100,000. This is about 121,000. And keep in mind, we have the ability to potentially add units to the basement, reducing our cost per unit. Those are a number of reasons why I bought this property, and it was such a fantastic deal for me. I'm looking forward to showing you guys the finished product. We'll go upstairs in a minute and I will show you the 4 units that are being renovated right now, and you guys can see the progress. Another thing I'd like to mention is I did cash for keys. I paid the tenants to leave. The tenant in the back here, there were smokers. The unit was absolutely disgusting, smelly, and they've been there for years, like almost a decade. And then upstairs, another couple of tenants, they were there for about a decade as well, and they were hoarders. So the 2 bedrooms were full of junk. Literally from the floor to the ceiling, you could not even step foot in that bedroom. They were sleeping like on the couch. So I, helped them find another place and I paid them. And luckily they had family that was accommodating and we got them out. So we got it fully vacant. Yeah, sometimes you gotta pay those tenants to leave, and it's definitely worth your while. Come check out the rest of the units. Hey guys, we're here in the basement of the 7-plex. So we got huge ceilings here, 10-foot ceilings, and we have all this available space. So this is another reason why I decided to buy this property, because as investors, we're always looking for value add opportunities, and if you can add units in a basement, that's always a huge value add. So you could definitely add 3 or 4 units comfortably. So that's the plan initially, that I was going to try to do that. 7 units that are getting renovated, that's already a big enough project as it is, so I decided to hold off on that plan. Let me just do the 7 units first, and then once that is complete or getting close, I will apply to get those permits and see if the city would allow to add units here. There are some concerns about windows and whatnot to make it a legal unit, so we'll see what the city has to say. That's the first choice, to add 2 to 4 units down here if they allow it. If not, this is still usable space. It's like a basement in a house. Even if the city says you can't make a full unit here, guess what? We could still do the flooring and drywall and paint and make it additional square footage for the 2 commercial units, and have like a studio here, podcast center, man cave, storage, laundry. Like there's so many things that we can do. So obviously the highest and best use would be just full units here. Could definitely have a unit here, a unit there, and maybe in the back as well, comfortably. So we'll see what the city has to say. But like I said, it's still usable square footage. So we will do something. Just right now, the priority is on the 7 existing units, but once that's all said and done, we'll definitely be looking at adding some value here and seeing what we can do with this space. So stay tuned. All right, guys, this is the large residential unit. This is the only residential unit on the main floor. This is behind the 2 commercial units. So again, high ceilings here. Very large unit. If you think about it, the 2 units in the front, they kind of take one half of the building and the other half of the building, right down the middle of the building. This unit is behind both units, so it covers the whole width of the building. So that's why this unit's so massive. We have a living room here, kitchen here. You got the bathroom and 1 bedroom here, and there's another bedroom here. Now technically, this is not a bedroom because there's no window, and unfortunately the neighboring property is so close that you cannot put a window there. You'll be looking at a brick wall. So technically I would have to advertise this as an office, and I'm trying to figure out to change the layout. Ideally we turn this into a 3-bedroom, but I'm just trying to figure out the layout. It's a little awkward. I have windows all along the back of the building and on this side in this living room. So ideally if we can turn this into a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, that might be something. We'd have to move the bathroom maybe here, maybe keep the kitchen here, maybe when you walk in we have a living room here. But I'm still trying to figure this out with my contractor. What's the best layout? Because you have all this empty space. It's just dead space. It's like a giant foyer dining area, and then you have this oversized living room. So initially my thought was, okay, let's move the living room in here to have living room and kitchen, or living room and kitchen here, one way or the other. And then since that room doesn't have a window, we make this living room the bedroom. But this is like overkill for a bedroom, right? And also you're facing the parking lot. You might be hearing cars go in and out, but really it's the size. It's just overkill for a bedroom. So the best thing is either to maybe do I add another bedroom, make it a 3-bed, 1-bath? Currently it's 2-bed, 1-bath. Do I make it a 3-bed, 1-bath, or do I make it a 2-bed, 2-bath? I could probably fit, if I do decide to make this a bedroom, I could add an ensuite bathroom, half bath or a full bath. So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. What would you guys do if you were in my shoes? My thoughts are maybe put this thing on Airbnb and renovate it super nicely, and I think it will do very well on Airbnb, short-term rental. We're in uptown Windsor, great location. We got, almost like midtown, restaurants, bars, cafes, great area for that sort of thing. And you gotta think worst case scenario, if it's a long-term rental, what am I getting for rent, right? So a lot of factors to consider, but these are are all things that come through my mind as an investor. You know, what's the highest and best use? I really love the high ceiling, so I think it'll be really sharp once we're all said and done. We just have to decide where's everything going, where are the bedrooms, where's the living room, and I'm open to suggestions. So if you guys have any thoughts for me, please let me know in the comments. So we got 4 units up here, just to give you guys the rundown. Unit number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we actually started with this one, and we worked our way up there, and this unit was the last one to be demoed. The contractors had their materials here and would just use it for storage and whatnot. But now that we made some progress, you guys can see the demo work has been done. This is a 1-bedroom unit. So we got 1 bedroom here. We got the bathroom over here. We have a kitchen here and living room right there. So we are adding en-suite laundry to all of these units. So that's either gonna go most likely in this corner or perhaps along this wall. Still to be determined, but yeah, the building has solid bones. We didn't really make note of it, but in the basement, the foundation is cinder block. So all the way from the basement, which has 10-foot ceilings, down to the main floor, which has at least 10 or 12-foot ceilings as well, all the way up here, it's all cinder block. So I don't know if you can see that up there. You can kind of see the cinder block. So that's all the way around. Super solid building, structurally sound, and you know, this stuff is just cosmetics. So we'll probably keep the same layout. Again, bedroom, bathroom's kind of tight. What I didn't like about this bathroom was the vanity was like sticking out to here. So you'd open the door and the vanity was like halfway through the door, which was really stupid. You'd have to like slide by or squeeze by here. So we could either get like a thinner vanity that's not super deep, or we might look at, you know, doing some framing. But all in all, these units aren't super spacious to be adding any beds or anything like that. We just have to work with what we have in terms of square footage. So just going by the best layout. Most of them, you have the kitchen backing onto the bathroom. That way you have all the plumbing basically on one wall. So you know, that there's a reason for that, for cost effectiveness and whatnot. Yeah, so obviously this one needs a bunch of work. They just demoed it, got rid of this junk. They're gonna do any framing, electrical, plumbing, and then it's gonna be time for the insulation, vapor barrier, drywall, so forth and so on. So looking forward to how this one turns out. But let's go check out the other one, unit number 4, which is right across, and you can see what a finished product looks like. It's almost done, not 100% done. There's no kitchen or anything, but at least you can see the floors, trim, paint, and all that good stuff. So this is unit number 4. Coming here, we have an open concept. We have a living room and kitchen. So I have the kitchen guy coming this week. He's gonna take some dimensions. I was thinking about making an island here so they can have an eat-in kitchen, right? So as a tenant, it's not super big here, right? So you really have to maximize the square footage. So I was thinking if we have an island with a bar top, people could just sit there and eat, and they don't have to worry about dining area. And originally when I bought the building, I was thinking about just keeping the electric baseboard heaters. They are electric baseboard heating throughout the building. We do have a gas furnace on the commercial unit where I'm gonna be office hacking. There is a gas furnace for that. But other than that, it's all electric baseboard heating. So I am updating the baseboard heaters for sure, but I decided to actually include mini split system for all of the residential units. Actually for the 6 units, the residential plus the other commercial. So if you take a look here, it's actually roughed in. So that's the rough in for the mini split system. It does heating and cooling, and we're gonna have a head for the kitchen and living room, and we're also gonna have another head for each bedroom. So this is another 1-bed unit. I was told, according to the city code, they want the electric heaters as backup. So initially I thought I could just go with the heating and cooling, but it turns out you actually need both, and we wanna do things up to code. So we have the electric baseboard for backup, and then we have the heating and cooling unit. At the end of the day, I wanna compete with some of the higher end condos and apartments. So if I want to do that and I want to get as much possible rent as I can, I need to have a product that competes with that. So come take a look. We got the heating and cooling in each unit, and also we're gonna add en-suite laundry to each unit. We updated the panel, you know, we got the permit for that, and the bathroom's tiled. So in this unit, since it's an extra large bathroom, we're gonna actually have the stackable washer dryer here in this corner. We have the 4-piece bath. You have a tub and a shower. The toilet is installed, and we just need the vanity. So all these minor things need to be done, but for the most part, this one came a long way because, you know, a couple months ago, it was looking like that other unit where it's just down to the studs. So looking forward to seeing this project come to fruition. But we got 2 more units up front, so let's go check those out as well. And this is the second exit. So we came through the back deck. This is the side deck, or sorry, the side stairs. Don't mind the mess. Obviously still mid-reno. Now these two units, they are both 2-bed. They're smaller bedrooms, but they're 2-bed, 1-bath. The two units that we just seen were actually 1-bed, 1-bath each. But if you come take a look here, so we just got the flooring done. It got painted in off-white color. So we got it painted, we got the flooring, we got the baseboards in, some of them anyway. And again, this is roughed in for the heating and cooling. It's gonna be blowing hot and cold air here. So it should heat and cool both the living room and the kitchen. And we replaced all the windows for all the residential units. I might have forgot to mention that, but all the windows have been replaced. And then over here we got the kitchen. In this unit, we're gonna put the washer and dryer actually in this corner. So you're gonna have the stove, the fridge, washer, dryer. We're gonna have the sink here, cabinets at the bottom, cabinets up top. We got another panel that got swapped. They just took off the cover for painting. We got one closet here. This bathroom's a bit smaller, as you guys can see. So I went with a low profile vanity that's not super deep or wide, so it doesn't stick out when you open the door. But again, 4-piece here. And we got the 2 bedrooms. Bedroom 1, bedroom 2. Again, you can see that it's roughed in, heating and cooling. Each room will have its own heating and cooling system, as well as electric baseboard. And come check out the last unit up here. This would be unit number 1. So this was the hoarder's unit. You guys would not believe it. We're gonna include some photos for you to see it for yourself. But this is 2-bedroom. It's basically a mirror image of that unit that we just went through. And these 2 bedrooms were full of junk, just crap on top of crap, from the bottom to the ceiling. It was ridiculous. You could not even see the room because it was just full of stuff. So full of stuff, absolutely disgusting. You know, we did cash for keys. We paid the tenants some money. We helped them relocate. And it's just crazy how the before and after look. And obviously this is midway. They just finished up the mudding and the sanding. So they're gonna paint it and do the flooring next. And this has come a long way. These 2 bedrooms did have a closet. It got taken down with the demolition process. Now I opted not to frame it in. Technically a bedroom should have a closet, but these are already small rooms. So I might just get a makeshift closet from IKEA or a furniture store, maybe like cupboards, or they have those ones that you put together that you can have a closet. So that's the only negative thing I could really say, is there's not a whole lot of square footage here to add closets or add beds or anything like that. But all in all, I'm happy with the progress. We got a bathroom. This bathroom is more spacious. Again, this is the mirror image of the unit that we just saw. So you got the living room here and you have the kitchen here. Again, we have all the appliances along this wall. We were thinking about, hey, do we take this wall down and make it open concept? But my contractor brought up a good point. He's like, hey, where are the appliances gonna go? Again, you have to really think about this stuff and utilize the space as best as you can. So I said, you know what, you're right. Let's just put the appliances on this wall. We could have the sink here, kitchen cabinets and whatnot. And this could be the dining area. They could put a table here. Again, it's 2-bedroom. It's probably gonna be, you know, a couple people living here, maybe a couple, maybe they have a kid, maybe they don't. So you just gotta know who your clientele is. Obviously this won't work for every tenant, but it will work for some, and it will be competitive to other units that are gonna be in similar condition to this one. So stay tuned to see the final progress.